guys, Lauren and Rebecca here with Bizrok. In today's video, I want to talk to you about really being proactive in your role. And Rebecca, you spend a lot of time talking to teams about really taking pride in their role, which guys is a little different. I know that, especially if you're part of our video series, you've probably seen some videos about adding value, but taking pride in your role is really about being proactive. Can you share that with me?
It is. Being proactive, what I am saying with that when I come into offices and talk to teams is one, being front stage ready. Mm-hmm. If you have been in our trainings, you have heard us use the phrase being front stage ready. Y'all, that is not just physical though. That is being emotionally prepared for the day and physically prepared for the day. You have to get in the right mind space. If you are stressed out about anything before you come in the office, leave it in the car. Don't bring it in with you. Coming in, being front stage ready not just for your patients, but for your team and your doctor. So very important.
Yes, I'm glad that that's kind of where we're starting, because really that starts with the morning huddle, right? We talk about, whenever you walk into the office and being present for the morning huddle and being on time for the morning huddle. Like, let's start there. But part of, guys, I know for some of you, you're like, well, I get it, and I try to be front stage all the time, but sometimes I have bad days. Guys, we all have bad days.
We all have bad days.
We've all been there. But that's also why the morning huddle time is so important. And in the past, we've talked about giving and going above and beyond for your patients. And in the morning huddle, you can say, hey guys, I'm really off my A game today. I put my sick kid on the bus. So I'm waiting to see if the school calls. If they call, I might have to step out. But if I seem off, it's not you. It's because I've got a sick kid, but I'm going to A game it and I'm going to front stage it, right?
100%. Always share with your team what's going on with your life. They will be there to support you. Again, there's no I in team, guys. We're a team. We're there to support each other. But that's going to take place in the morning huddle. It's where it starts every single morning. Come in, being prepared, reading your charts, going over them, being prepared for your patients, being able to ask the questions when they need to be asked. You're not always the one seeing the same patient. We all share patients. So with that being said, please, please, please come in. Be prepared on time, like Lauren said, the most important part, and actually go through those charts a day or two in advance so that we can be ready for our patients and give them our best at all times.
So I'm glad that we're talking about chart prepping, and this isn't a morning huddle video. We have a whole video on that, but I do want you to highlight a couple things because you mentioned chart prepping and preparing for your day. Some of our offices use route slips, and Rebecca, I've seen that they just want to read off that route slip. Like, that's not what you mean, right?
It is not. We can all read. Guys, we don't need to read off the route slip. What I'm wanting you to look for to make your day exceptional and run so smooth and do the best for your patients that you can, look for allergies. Look and see if they have any allergies, whether it be to latex or a medication or a food that we should not be eating for breakfast, like peanuts. If you have somebody with a peanut allergy, you should not have peanuts in the office or on your body, being you've touched them or they're on your breath for 3 to 4 hours before they come in. So it is a very big deal. There are a lot of people very allergic to things. So you have to let the entire team know. And the only time that we're all together is in morning huddle. After that, we disperse and go our own ways, and we don't really meet up unless we're running each other in sterilization. And at that time, we don't have time to talk about our next patients. So looking for their medical history, looking at their past appointments, making sure that they are on schedule for their treatment plans, future appointments, not only for them, but for their family members. Make sure their children are scheduled for hygiene visits. Making sure everything is crossed and dotted is the most important thing in huddles.
Love that. And also, whenever you talk about being proactive and truly just taking pride in your workplace and how you show up every day, I know you're a huge fan of having attention to detail.
100%. So when you're going through your charts, read for the past history, see if they need anything off that comfort menu. And if they do, have it readily available. Go ahead and have the doctor prepped as well. If they're anxious, go ahead and call the patient. Go ahead and get them prepared. Answer your questions before. Go ahead and talk to the team that's checking them in, making sure that they create that bond with the patient when they walk in. Because just them standing up and saying hello, y'all, that could be the best thing that happens to them that day. We need to make sure we always put them first and foremost in the office.
Yeah. Can you touch on, when it comes to taking pride in your workplace and being proactive, I know you touch a little bit on best practices, which if you're watching this video, hopefully you've already gone through best practices training. If not, I think you need to email us, because guys, that's huge and it's so important. Very big. Yeah. And usually we require that before you even go through clinical training. Can you tell us why though, whenever you say being proactive and, talking through best practices?
Best practices, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to make sure that you have everything in a written form. God forbid, y'all, you're sick one day or your child's sick and we have a temp. You want them to be able to come in and be like, this is how we do things at our office.
Yes.
Every office is different. There is not one office that's the same. There's not one team that's the same. Nobody does things the way that your office does things. So being able to hand somebody a book and saying, hey, this is how you get images on a patient. This is our protocol for setting up for a composite. This is how we do new patients. It makes it so easy, and they're able to slide right into the role. And then again, our patients don't even know they're temps. They have no clue. They come in, they're taken care of, they're loved just like that they were with their normal assistant or hygienist that's there. They do not know what's really going on in the office, and that's what we want. We want them to feel comfortable and at home.
Yes, so true. And, one of the things that our overachiever offices do, and, Rebecca, I know you've helped some of our practices do this, is actually taking it a step further and having like a checklist or a cheat sheet of just a few best practices, because there's also nothing more frustrating for a temp when they walk in and they're given the office Bible of here's all 5,200 of our processes. You should find it. Yeah, it's like you should find it in there. Like, good luck, welcome to the team. It's like, guys, how would you want to be treated? So what are your thoughts on having some sort of binder of kind of like what a temp would need?
Yes. So it's going to be a smaller version of your best practice. It's going to be your top. I would say your top 5 for every department. So if you're doing check-in, if you're the one that they see when they first walk in, it's going to be how to greet your patient. Stand up. Please stand up, guys. Every patient loves that. Get on eye level with them. Not only greeting them, but smiling when they walk in. So it's the standing up and smiling, making them feel welcome. It's going to be double checking their insurance, their personal information when they walk in, making sure you have the photo for the patient so that we know who's coming in. Y'all, I am not good at names. I love the photos. I don't know how you are with photos.
Oh my goodness, yes.
They save me, because when you open the reception door and there are 15 people in there, you're like, oh goodness, which one's my patient? And there are always multiple Mrs. Jones. So that way you know who to look at and who to call back. So that's going to be for the front. If you're an assistant, you're going to have on your best practices how to take an image, how to set up for your basic restorations, how to do a new patient exam, what are the important questions to ask a new patient, just your basic information. Hygiene, it's going to be the same thing. Your prophy setup, your SRP guidelines, when to have your patient come back for an FND versus an SRP for the next appointment. It's just going to be your basics in a really tight binder that you can say, hey, can you take 30 minutes and look at this before we start our day after the morning huddle? It's going to make the office run a lot smoother for the day, and everybody will be front stage ready.
Love that. And I love that you touched on, like, it should take the hygienist or the temp about 30 minutes to go through that.
Quick and easy.
With docs, if you're watching this, please don't have a temp show up 5 minutes before huddle.
Oh my goodness, no. Don't set them up for failure, guys. We need to set them up to win every day.
Pay them for their time and request that they show up an hour before their first patient.
100%.
That gives them plenty of time to review the patients that they're going to be serving that day, review our best practices that are pertinent to them.
Yes.
And let them just breathe for half a second before they jump right in. Docs, if you're watching this, how many times, if you have a process like what Rebecca just said, do you think those temps are going to be like, I've never had a process like this. I want to be part of this practice.
They will leave their resume on the 12 o'clock, on their way out the door of the day.
They will. They will. It makes a difference.
They'll want to be a team member there.
Simply because you guys chose to be proactive. And then the last couple of things that we'll wrap up with is notes.
Yes.
So tell us about, how to be proactive with your notes, whether you're a team member up front or a clinical team member.
So with notes, guys, notes are a legal document. Please don't forget that. I cannot say that enough. We have to have our notes done every day, and they have to be signed, not only with whoever is assisting or doing the hygiene process, but the doctor as well. So it has to have 2 signatures.
Rebecca, can I pause you for a second? Because you said something that sometimes people forget. Notes have to be done how often?
Every day before the next patient
Thank
is
you.
coming in. I prefer you to use a template. That helps a lot. If we place templates in our system, it's not only going to help whoever is in the clinical space that is actually performing the procedure with the doctor, but it's going to help the front understand and know how to read the notes. Guys, if we do everything the same, it is so much easier on everybody. It's literally plug and play. You're going to have your template come up. You're going to fill in what needs to be filled in, sign it, and go on and get your next patient back. That way you're not running behind, but you're not remembering everything. I can't. I have tried. Guys, after 25 years, I don't think if I can do it, that it's just not possible to remember 10 to 18 patients a day, all the information that you need to put in, all the pertinent information they told you, and their health history, and everything the doctor said. If you can, kudos to you, and I need your memory, but I just don't think that it's possible. Please do your notes at the end of every patient.
Yes. Yes, and like you said, just making sure that they're wrapped up and buttoned up by the end of the
At
day.
the end of the day.
And docs, if you're watching, that's your license on the line. And so I don't want you to skip over that because it's so important. Like that is one of those big no-nos where it's like, no, every single team member must do patient notes by the end of the day.
Every day.
And we always say, if it's not notated, it didn't happen.
It did not happen. That's your legal document.
Yep.
So for me to know that a patient even called, I know we've used this example in trainings, but even if Miss Susie calls and says that her goldfish has died, please y'all notate it. Miss Susie called and said her goldfish died. So that way when she comes in, we can say, I am so sorry, Miss Susie, that your goldfish passed away. And then we can move on.
Yes.
But we have to notate everything. If it is not notated, it never happened.
Love that. Awesome. So thank you for sharing that. I think those were some phenomenal examples for both the front, the hygiene team, but also for the restorative team on really just taking pride in your workplace, but also being proactive with your day.
100%.
So, well, guys, if you need any help, reach out to us. Otherwise, we can't wait to see you and serve you soon.